everyone. In this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to create a simple Google form for assessment. Okay, so you have taught a lesson, but you want to quickly assess your learners to know whether what you have taught has sunk or whether there is need for improvement. So this is how you can create your Google form. As long as you have a Gmail address, you have access to all Google apps and templates. So over here I'm using my Chrome browser. So open your Chrome browser. If you're opening it for the first time, open your Chrome browser and search for Google form. But because I'm using my laptop over here, you will see Google apps. All the apps that I need is here. So immediately I click on it, I'll see every single app that Google has access to. These are all Google apps. Alright, so I'm going to go over to forms. But if I don't have this, another way I can do it is to just search Google form. Search it on your search bar, Google form, and you click on it. So there are two ways to do that. Either you search it on the search bar, or you go over here on Google Apps and choose forms. So I'm going to choose Google Forms from the browser. Alright, I'm going to start a form from scratch so that we can go together. Start a new form. Click on blank form. Alright, so once you click on blank form, it opens you up to this page. Allow it to load. Okay, so what you are going to do, you are going to change form title and description. Form title and description. So you can write here assessment quiz. So this is you naming your form. And if you change it here, it automatically changes here. But if you want to be more specific, and maybe it's an assessment fit for primary 5 or primary 6 or JSS 1, you can now add your specifics over here. So let's say primary 6. So anything you make here will not happen here unless you change. So now we've changed the form title, assessment quiz, primary 6, form description. So this is you giving context to the form that you want your respondents to fill. So this is to assess your knowledge and it is compulsory. Maybe your knowledge on, let's choose a topic. I'm using my chart to find me some option. Okay, all right, it has given us a better one. So let's use what it gave. Please answer all questions carefully. So this is your option. So please answer all questions carefully. Assessment pitch for primary 6, your instruction, please answer all questions carefully. So because you have your questions set, you can manually start imputing them, or you can generate them using ChatGPT. Okay, and then modify them to suit what you need it for. All right, for every assessment or for every exam, there are compulsory portions of the question, and one of the compulsory is your name. So your name is compulsory, and because it's a compulsory question, you want to put it on required. You want to turn on this toggle button to make it compulsory. And for name, you don't need a multiple choice as your option type. So you click on this arrow key here and you see all the options. For name, you want the individual to fill their names by themselves, so you click on short answer. So this changes your option here that the learner will have to respond to. So we are done with that. and we have turned on this button on to make it a compulsory question. So you click on this plus sign to add your next question. Okay, click on this option here to add your next question. Now, because this is assessment type and we want to show you how to use every of the option type, let's see. Dates. Okay, dates. If it's something that you have a date for, you choose this date option. Automatically, once you click on date, the option by itself chooses itself. So the students will add the day, the month, and the year for this option. So if you want it also to be a compulsory question, you click on this toggle button. If you make it compulsory, you notice this asterisk sign or symbol that comes up here. So if you click on plus, you enter the next one, and you can see it's here. So now let's go into the questions itself. So I'm using AI to help me generate this question for this session. So our first question type is a multiple choice question, and we are going to just use this example. So we put the question under question, which tool is best for presentation? The option here is multiple choice, so we are going to choose all the options. We have 4 options here. So we're going to click on option 1. Remember, we highlighted 4 options, and then we are going to use paste it. Okay, so 2 ways to do it is to copy and paste if you're moving it from one point to another. But what you will notice is that it leaves a blank space here which you want to delete. Okay, you want to delete the blanks so that you can leave only the right options there. So you can see the right options are there. So this is one way to do it. Another way to do it is to manually write the option. You now type word, add option. Option 2 is what? PowerPoint. So this is you manually now adding the options. So option 3, Excel. Option 4, Paint. So either way, the main thing is to give your options. Alright, so one way is to add the question to start another one. Another way is to use this. If you use duplicate question, what it does is it copies the question here to the next tab, duplicates it, make it double. Alright, so by making it double, you can just highlight and change the question and change your option. And if you notice, it does not have this asterisk here. Why? Because we did not turn on this button. So if it's a compulsory question for them to answer, always remember to turn on the toggle button here. All right, so let's see the next question. So the next question is a true or false question. We want to use a true or false question. Now we are copying the question straight from here. So what are we doing? We are replacing, because we duplicated, we are going to use the replace, highlight the text and then replace my question. Google form can be used to collect data. We are looking at true or false. Okay, so true or false is also a multi-choice question. You just write true, and then the next option is what? False. So it's either a true or a false, multi-choice. So the next question will be a short answer question. Mention one benefit of. Now, because you want to assess their knowledge, this is giving you the different assessment type you can use. So we want them to write something by themselves. So we click on question. Oh, we want to make this question compulsory. and then we put our question. One benefit of using digital tool, allow the student to answer, so you make it a short answer. So this is now where you learn to see the answer from the learner's perspective. Okay, so you make the question required as well, because it's assessment, you want them to attempt. Okay, so once that is done, you want to add another question. So it can be a 10-page question or 5, depending. So for this last one, we are going to use a rating scale. So maybe you have taught this class before giving them this quiz to answer as a class work. So the last one is evaluation for the teacher. How do you rate today's session? There are options for rating. We can see linear scale, we can see rating. So we are going to use rating. 1, 5 is for highest. Oh, you can also change it. It can be heart, it can be like button. Okay, you know this, for example, in hotels you see 3-star, 5-star hotel. So let's use, so depending on the symbol you want, 1 means is very low, 5 is high. So if you are teaching basic classes, you can use that. Another way to use rating scale. Okay, so let's leave that and duplicate. How will you rate today's, let's say, practical? Maybe you did a practical. Let's make this also compulsory. Okay, how will you rate today's practical? Let's use linear scale. Okay, 1, let's say 1 is lowest. Okay, let's say 1 low, 5 high. So if the person is choosing 5, that means the person is rating the class highly. If the person is choosing 1, that means it's very low. So these are all the option types you can use. You see that this question is it's complementary, it has everything that we need, and it's also compulsory. Now let's see what we have done, because before you administer this, you want to be sure that this question can easily be accessible. Where do we go? We go under the second place that has an eye. You go under here that has an eye. So once you click on that, you see preview, and you also see not published, meaning that this question is not live. You are the teacher, you are still setting it, so you are still doing behind the scene work. It is not ready yet. So, and it also gives you introduction, what you did before, assessment quiz primary 6, please, your instruction is here. Now the asterisk indicates required question, that means they are compulsory. So name, okay, date, so I'm using today's date. Which tool, now this is my answer to this question. Which tool is best for presentation? I'm testing what I have said to be sure that when students answer it, they can also make use of it and is user friendly. I choose PowerPoint. Google Form can be used to collect data. Is it true or false? I say false, and I say true because the answer is true, but let's say you want to fail. So mention one benefit of using digital tools in class. Makes the work easy. So this kind of option is for, let's say, mention one advantages of something or one disadvantage. You allow the student to mention one based on what has been taught in class. So how will you rate today's lesson? Okay, this is feedback. How will you rate today's practical? Maybe you took them to the lab. If they did not understand better, they can choose 1. 1 is low. If they did well, they can choose 5. 5 is high. So this shows you that this form is highly functional. And and I also notice you cannot submit the form in preview mode. The form can only be active when you publish. So let's go back to what we were doing. So you see this pencil form over here by the down right. You click on it. If you hover around it, you see edit this form. So this is where we are going. We are going to leave because we have tested the form and we see that it's working very well. So if we like what we see and we want it to be as simple as this, we can publish. But if you want to still add a little bit of context and make your form look very presentable and nice, you can customize templates. And this is where you go. You click on this thing that looks like a palette. Click on it to customize. You will see all the things that can be customized. This text style can be changed. So let's say we are choosing impact. You will see it here. Every change you make on header. So this is the header. Header is this one, that's the title. So you can choose maybe Poppins. And Poppins, there are also levels to it. It can be light, it can be normal, it can be extra bold. So choose whatever. Okay. So for the questions, do you want to maintain the same thing or do you want to change the font? It is also to your discretion. Any change you make, also remember, use a font that is legible so that your students will not have eye problem looking at it. Okay, so you change it, leave the size if it's okay. If you want to still increase the font or the size for the answers, you also can do that. Now if you want to change the color, if you notice the color here, so if you want to change it to maybe red, you can change the color. Automatically changes the color of your background. You can change it to orange or any color of your choice. Okay, you can also make it darker by choosing the intensity of the color that you want. Okay, so this is for publishing. Now if you want to add an image, you want to go an extra mile with making your form more beautiful, you can choose to add image on the header. So let's do that. Add an image, choose it. It will give you an option. Do you want to choose from your gallery? Do you want to choose from where? So you have to select where you have image. So you wait for it to load. Okay, so once you choose your header image, you can choose based on the template that they have, or you can go to upload from if you have an image in your gallery. So I'm going to go over to my pictures to see if there's something I can use. Okay, all right, I don't have any image to use at this moment, so let me choose any of the themes available. I can choose an illustration to use. Assessments, okay. So let's look at the options to see. Okay, I think I can use this image. So once you select an image, okay, there is one for work and school. Let's see. Alright, let's choose this one that has pencils. Once you select an image, click on insert here so that you can add a header to your design. Allow it to load over here, and once it's done, it will reflect on your design. Okay, so once you select a header, this is just the header here, adding more color and spice to your design. It is also important to note that everything here you can imagine, so you can see, you can make it more interactive by adding images, especially if you have visual learners, people that love to learn by seeing things. So if it's a question that has maybe identify something and you can add an image, you can also do that. So let's say word. Okay, let's choose a word. Let's use choice. So let's say we're uploading this. So you gave them this option, and then you made it visual for them, especially if you're teaching lower class learners and you want to make your work interactive. You can still write the option here and then add an image so that it comes close to home. So this is also another tool you can use. Okay, so once you are done with your question type and we've done the preview and you like what you see, you go over here to click on publish. Click on publish. If it's a form that you want more than one people to have access to, you can click on this point that has a human and plus sign, that has this share option. Okay, for now I am the only one that has access. So for you creating the form, you are the owner. You can add an email of someone and make the person an editor or a responder. So what this means, if the person is an editor, this means that the person can change the question, especially if you are teaching a class and you are not the only teacher. That means the person can change the question and modify the question. But if the person is a responder, that means the person is a student, or the person can only answer the question. They cannot change the question. And because you've not published it, you can't do this yet. To accept responses from responders, you have to publish the form. So this is how to collaborate. If you want to add more people, you can do that over here. And another thing to note here is if this form is public, because there's a way you create your form, you are not the only you are the only person that can access it. That means if you want more than one person to fill it, they will keep calling you, oh please, I can't access this form, I can't access the form, I can't access the form. To avoid that, you make it in such a way that anyone, for responders, anyone with the link can answer. So as far as the form is sent to a group chat, anyone that clicks on that link can answer. You can also turn it off to restrict it. That means it's only the people that you add on the form that can respond to it. So there are different levels to this, but at this point I want you to leave it as anyone with the link can answer. So click on done. So once you've set your modules over here and how you want access to be granted, click on publish. We are going to click on publish to publish this form. Now anyone with the link will answer this question. You can also set it here. Remember, we did it here, but you can also set it here if you missed that step. So click on publish. So Google, the copy responder link is always long, but you can shorten URL. So click on this square checkbox to shorten the code and make it a short code, and then click on copy to copy the code. So copy to your clipboard. That means you can now paste it on your WhatsApp platform or your group chats where your learners are or where the respondents are, so that they can respond to this form. Okay, this form already has responses, so we're going to click on responses to see who answered what. And as you can see from the back end of this form, you will see the ratio of respondents. The gender is 78% male, 21% female. Their phone numbers and every other thing. You see they're using the rating skill. Let's show the question type. We use the rating skills here, and we used multi-choice checkboxes here. So in their responses, you also see it. Okay, that means majority had little or no experience. This is one of the important points of a pre-evaluation and post-evaluation point. So you see the level of learners, how they responded before the training or before the class, and how they respond after the class. So by asking them a checkbox question where they can choose more than one, they can tell you, oh, the ones that they are familiar with. You now know, oh, where they have more strength. You can see that most people said they have been using Google packages here, but less of them have been using CorelDRAW. And if you give them option to add their own opinion, you will see something like this, where they have CorelDRAW ICT areas that they are familiar with. Okay, all right, so areas of interest and productivity, you see where they want more training on. So this is the summary. Number of people that answered this form responded at 38. The questions are here, and you now see the names. But seeing it like this is one thing, but the best way to see the answers of everybody is to view it in sheets. So I'm going to click on view in sheets. Now in viewing it in sheets, Google opens your Google Sheets. So you have left Google Form to Google Sheets. Okay, and then on Google Sheets you will now see everybody that answered responses, their level of proficiency before. You see basic, intermediate, advanced. Okay, so this will help you know the ones that have previous knowledge, and also help you know how to pair them in the classes. This is how you can easily use Google Forms to quickly assess your learners and get feedback instantly.